Well, hello, everybody. This is Dr. Troy Dukowitz of the Commit and Go podcast, where we encourage you to make big commitments, take big action to create big-ass results in your life and business. Today's topic is this. This word has defined the St. Louis Blues, but it also defines you. So I am, and I've brought it up once or twice, as being a hockey fan. I am a big-time hockey fan here in the St. Louis Blues, who are in the Stanley Cup playoffs. And the series, as of this recording, the series is tied at 2-2. My St. Louis Blues won last night, beating the Boston Bruins 4-2. And one of the things that came up, which, first of all, I love post-game interviews. I'm the guy who has no problem sitting there and just watching the breakdown and the interviews after the game. I love hearing what players say, both on the winning side and on the losing side, to see kind of where their mindset is and what they have to do to move forward. And I also then went to Facebook, and on Facebook I saw what people were posting on my feed in terms of the St. Louis Blues. And one of the key hashtags that has come up for quite some time is the hashtag resilience. Hashtag resilience. And if you don't know this about St. Louis Blues, and if you've made it this far, let me tell you, this is not just a sports analogy, and I'm going to stay sports, and it has nothing to do or nothing with relevance to your life. I promise you, whether you like sports or not, this will be relevant to your life. The St. Louis Blues were in dead last as of December 31st, 2018. They were essentially the worst team in all of hockey. And yet, in that time period, they have been able to go on a winning streak and find themselves now 2 wins away from winning the Stanley Cup. No matter what happens, and look, I am an avid Blues fan. They are my team. I want them to win the Cup. But what they have done already has literally, and I shit you not, what they've done already has literally put tears in my eyes multiple times when I think of what they've done. When I think of how long I have followed this team as a fan. Now at 49 years old, I have been following this team since I was just in grade school. So to me, this is just an absolutely just an incredible time to be a part of this, and it's been so cool. And the thing is that for them to go from dead last to 2 wins away from winning the Stanley Cup, they had to have a resilience. And a resilience is the capacity to bounce back from something. It's a toughness that we have to have. And so the reason I share this with you is because although they've had a toughness, like they've had to fight back, they've had to scrap, and they've had to work hard to get to where they are right now. Think about it, being dead last, you have to find a way to pick yourself up and as a team pick each other up in order to move forward, which is exactly what they've had to do. And I think of this and look at this in reference to my life, in reference to your life. And what I know is that we've all had challenges. We've all had difficulties. You know, if you've been listening to this podcast for any period of time, that I share my challenges and difficulties right here with you. And what that also would tell you is that, hey, Troy is a resilient guy. But here's what's important to understand. It's not just me. It's you. You listening are resilient. You listening have a toughness. You listening have had a capacity. You have had the capacity to rebound from challenges, to get back up when you've been knocked down. You too are resilient. But what I also know about this is that this is something that we don't pay attention to, this resiliency, this toughness. That sometimes you get knocked down enough that you forget how tough you are. That sometimes you get knocked down enough that you maybe even forget what you were working for and what you were working towards. You forget the purpose of something and what it meant to you. And so I share this message with you today in the hopes that you do something really, really important. And that is to just take a deep breath and look at your life across body, being, balance, and business. And where in those areas are you feeling like, man, you feel defeated? You feel like you've been knocked down? And what would it take for you to get back up? That's number one. Number two is to, and maybe we reverse the order and we say this is one and that's two, because then what I want you to do is I want you to take a look at your life and where is it that you've been resilient? Where is it that you had a challenge or a difficulty and you found the strength, the toughness within you to get back up? The idea is to show you that you have this toughness. I have these conversations with clients all the time where I might tell them that I see something and they're like, well, I'm glad that you see that in me because I don't see it. And then I can literally pull out specific times in their lives, in the relationship that we've been together, where they have been, in this case, resilient. And they go, holy shit, I wasn't even thinking that way. It's because they're not thinking that way. When you're the one who is struggling, when you're the one who's having a challenge, you're not always looking for the light at the end of the tunnel. You're just looking for another freaking breath. You're just surviving. So you're in more of a scarcity mindset. You're not in an abundant mindset. The abundant mindset says, wait a minute, where is there evidence that I have been tough before, that I have fought through, where I have bounced back before? Because I'm going to use that as evidence that I have resiliency in my own personal experiences. So as we flip the order that I've explained to you here today, we go, okay, number one, I want you to look at your life and pick a time when you have been resilient. The odds were against you. Times were tough. You were down and out, but you fought your way back. Pick that time. Then take a look at your life across body, being, balance, and business. And where is it right now that maybe you're feeling a little bit knocked down? Maybe you're feeling a little bit defeated. And what would it take for you to take 1 or 2 steps forward? Based on the fact that you just found out how resilient you are, this starts to become easier. It starts to become more powerful. You start to become more certain. That's what I hope for you, because I know that you have it in you. You come here and you listen and you follow me, and I love and appreciate you for that. But I also want you to make sure that you're not just listening, but that you're actively listening, taking notes, and taking action on what we talk about here every week, Monday through Friday. If you do that, I know that those actions alone are going to completely transform your life. So look, that's all I've got for you here today. Thank you, as always. Thank you so much for listening. If you haven't already, please head on over to iTunes, Google Play, or Stitcher and rate and or review this podcast. I'd really, really greatly appreciate it. And finally, head on over to commitandgo.com where you can learn about myself and the programs that I have, the various programs that I have that are constantly running throughout the course of the year, and even individualized coaching. Hey, maybe it's time for us to have a conversation. That's all I've got for you here today. I am Dr. Troy Dukes. This has been the Commit and Go podcast, where we encourage you to make big commitments, take big action, and create big-ass results in your life and business. We'll hear you next time.